All right, fire away.
Pete, it seemed like you guys got something going toward the end, doing tempo. What is it about that that kind of clears things up, or
I think it brought a little energy to us. Kind of got some things going. I think that and you go back to that game and you watch it, and we sustained some drives, but we couldn't finish them. And really, obviously, our third down clearly wasn't good enough. But I think that it was a point of a game where it was like, hey, we gotta get going. And I thought the players responded well, and I thought that as you look at it, it's not something you can live in, but it's there's times probably where we'll want to use that.
That is something that you can incorporate earlier in the game, even if it's just for.
Yeah, I think that. Again, obviously it went well for that game, and I think you have to look at who's your opponent, what are they doing. But I think that again, as we game plan, if there's some weeks where we feel like, hey, whatever, hey, let's go. What do you call it? Up tempo or whatever you want to call it, and then just being smart with it though.
Yeah.
Dia mentioned that there are some new things that you tried to implement over the course of this week, just from a confidence standpoint for you and the offense. What's the impact of?
Well, I think there's just there was a lot of communication, a lot of discussion among individuals, and just kind of trying to make sure that we're clear with each other. Everybody's on the same page. I think that I think it's been a great week. A lot of energy. Guys are preparing. I think that just more so just a lot of discussion and saying, hey, what are some of the things that we got to do to keep some of these things from happening.
You've alluded before to the idea of the potential simplifying and things like that. Is that something that y'all have undergone?
Yeah, I think that I think that that's always part of it. You look at, hey, start out with the coaches. What are we doing? Are we doing too much? And is that causing issues? And then, like, why wasn't a play executed, or why was there possibly miscommunication and things like that? But I think that the discussion has been real healthy this week.
Is that also kind of a byproduct of going up tempo? You simplify things. I think Derek referred to it as some training camp plays as opposed to.
I think basically when you're getting into those types of situations, a lot of time it's your core things that you're picking from a menu, maybe potentially based on what the defense is, but there's a set menu throughout training camp.
You talk about from the coach's standpoint of you said doing too much or something along those lines. Is there like a simple example of that? Like what does that mean?
Well, I think that you can look at your let's just take the third down. Do we have too many plays in, and then guys are having to think so much like, hey, what am I doing on this play? What's my split? So simplifying, whether it's number of calls, maybe there could be a lot of things like, hey, yeah, is it the splits that are varying? Is it maybe a ton of motion, shift, all that stuff? I think a lot of that stuff can be simplified.
When you say number of calls, is that the number of calls going into the huddle, or is that just kind of like the overall menu?
I'm talking about maybe like an overall list when you're looking at a particular section of, let's just say, hey, you're looking at your drop back list, or you're looking at your play action list. Well, do we need this many on the list? Let's narrow it down to this many and make sure it's the ones that our guys like and love for that game.
Hey, what do you want to get Derek Carr into that takes advantage of the best that he's done and the best of his skills? Like, what do you need to find with him that gets him in there?
I think that obviously the Temple stuff was some things that he did well, but I think that those opportunities for him at the line of scrimmage to maybe see the coverage, recognize the coverage, and be able to get us in a play that's that we feel good about based on maybe the defense you're seeing.
And when we've seen communication issues, or not, I don't know if communication is even the right word, but
yeah,
the quarterback and the receiver being on different pages, is a lot of that from calls being made at the line of scrimmage, or that's not?
I think there could be a variety of things, and again, I think it, again, it starts with us as coaches making sure that those things aren't happening. If there's going to be some things that come up in the game, making sure that's all going into the game. Those are things that we've practiced and repped, and maybe not just all of a sudden appearing on game day.
So the two aren't sort of mutually exclusive. I mean, he can get us into this or this at the line of scrimmage, and it's not necessarily the same as like changing what they're all being asked to do on the play.
Correct.
Like,
yeah, correct. So I think that some part of the discussions this weekend is starting with what are we doing, and then making sure that we we're all on the same page, communication, and some of it's, execution assignment as well. So I think that all goes into it.
And this is probably oversimplifying, but Taysom caught a lot of balls in the middle of the field. But just in general, Michael Thomas slants, Jimmy Graham, period. Like, is it sort of defenses that are taking away the middle of the field, or is that something that you guys wish you were?
Well,
doing more?
I think when we go into the game, obviously we look at those opportunities and those things, and obviously when you talk about someone like Jimmy, obviously he's been a part of the game plans, and then just not maybe some of those plays aren't getting called, and that's that can come back to me and making sure that those opportunities are given to him. So I think that, and there's a lot of guys that we want to get the ball to. We like it in their hands, but again, I think as you go into a game plan, if there's something for Mike Thomas or Jimmy that you like, it's on the game plan. It's just a matter of sometimes getting it called.
When it comes to the attack in the middle of the field, what does the kind of return or potential return of Juwan Johnson, how does that factor in?
Yeah, I think that we're excited to have him back out of practice, and I think that he brings an element to the pass game vertically that I think that we like. I think that he does a number of things though as far as routes, and then again, I always feel like his run game blocking's been underestimated a little bit or not talked about as much. But I think that we'll see where he's at for Sunday. But I think that he brings an element of the passing game that we feel really good about. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.